Whoa. Welcome to another video. Thank you so much for clicking onto this video. If it's your first time here, welcome. But if you were here before, it's so good to see you. And let's just jump right into it. As you can see by the title of this video, this conversation today is really about why isn't this advocate in courtrooms? Why is she sitting in front of a camera recording, right? And I know that that's a conversation that probably gets everybody thinking, what's going on? But if not, if that's you were not wondering that, you're still welcome here. But today is that conversation. So I'm going to allow you to go grab your own cup of coffee. I have mine. Let me take you through why I don't find myself in the corridors of our courtrooms, and I find myself here. So yes, I think what's critical for us to begin this conversation really is talk about something that I believe is a difference maker, and that's purpose, right? If you know me by any streak or form, you would know that my heart beats for people to understand and grapple with their purpose, right? It's so sad to see many people, and I know that now I'm getting ahead of myself. Many people live their lives unsure, unclear, discontent with where they are because of the path that they've chosen for themselves. But yeah, let's hope that this channel will be able to point some of us into the right direction. So I think for me it will be important for us to start where it started, right? But obviously we don't have the whole day. But I think it will be key for me to take you back so that we can move forward, for you to get a picture of how the journey landed where we are today. Apparently, I knew very early on that I wanted to be a lawyer, earlier than my peers, some of my peers. And I'm told that Standard 2, which must be grade 4 now, apparently that's when I knew that I wanted to be a lawyer. And I'm told that didn't change well until I got also old enough to make the decisions that led me there. What though was not consistent is though I knew since Standard 2, and God allowed me to really pursue my my desire, which was to become a lawyer. There were certain intervals throughout my journey that pointed me in another direction. I would dare say that there were many tongue-tied. I'm not gonna write the script word by word, I'm telling you right now. Anyway, there were many pointers that were showing that something else is brewing behind this legal mind, right? In my second year of varsity, met the Lord. So I got born again very early on. I got born again at 13 years old in a small church, Assemblies of God church, back in Flagstaff in my home. And I knew from that point on that my life was different. But I think, like any teenager, I did not understand the magnitude of the change that was to happen, or that was to be my life, right? Lived normally. When I chose the university that I went to, in fact, I distinctly chose that university and no other university. I never applied to any other university. And in getting there, something happened inside of me that the decision that I made as a teenager became even more pronounced as I entered my second year of LLB. And it was a beautiful transformation that happened, and I'm told I know because I was there. In this journey, I then began to feel certain rumblings in my heart about what I need to do. March of that year, 2000, something had changed. Miliswa had changed. A fire was introduced into my belly, and somehow I felt like I don't want to do law. And I remember I went to my pastor at the time, and I informed him that, you know what, I think I want to go change the world and become an evangelist, you know. And I think at this point, that's where I believe that it's critical to have mentors around you who will kind of guide your passions in a way, not make decisions for you, but at least show you certain things because they've lived some, right? All his advice was to me is, finish your qualification, finish your LLB, and let's talk. Let's see what happens thereafter. And I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did because it's a story for another day. I'm so glad I did. I finally finished it, and the final year, I was already doing my articles, right? And the world of work opened up to me, and I was excited about it, right? I was excited to be in this new place. All I had learned was now becoming live. I was like, but fast forward into my articles. If you did law, you would know that, I don't know now, but then 2 years of articles. So on my second year, I was then supposed to, which I did. I did law school, and something started to rumble again at law school. And I think I am deliberate in sharing these interruptions that I found myself having in this journey to becoming this thing that I thought I wanted to be. So after my law school, I wrote the board. I failed my accounting. Do not ever bring accounting to me again. But I think I'm glad that I did, because it then propelled me into the direction that I wanted to go. At this point in my life, I was then having a yearning to serve my people. Actually, that's what I called it. I said I wanted to serve my people. And as I was having these conversations with God, I was like, the best way, I guess, to serve my people is through being a public servant, right? And that then took me on a journey of becoming a legal advisor. One thing that is great about LLB is that you can be many things, right? I guess as with any other career, but I would speak obviously to what I know, and I mean in answering the video today, what you could be many things, right? Public protector, public prosecutor, you could be a judge, a magistrate, a lawyer, and even that you can be many things under that, corporate, criminal, like many things, right? And if you take the other route, which is pupillage and advocacy, then you can then become, even there's myriads of things. But in August, I then decided to put a title in front of my name. And those are the joys of having the qualification that I have, right? And that was a marker for me, because that is the title that I've always wanted in front of my name, and for many reasons. And I think as you get to know me, you will get to understand some of my ideas and some of my thinking, right? But anyway, I then became advocate, and I got my first job as a legal advisor. It was a great journey, right? It was an introduction to a different journey. I was serving more people than I had before. But also in the journey of doing that, I then veered off to doing people management, and I enjoyed it. I talk a lot about this in my book, my last book, The Call, The Cost of Discipleship. But those years formed and I think cemented my love for people development, and I knew that this is what I wanted to do beyond that. But I think what's critical here is that you must understand that this was not running parallel, like alone. There was something running next to it, which was my passion for women. My passion for women was introduced very early on. I think almost my final year of LLB, of law, of varsity, and I knew for a fact that there were certain questions I wanted to answer for women at the time, and I think I will get into that when I speak about other things. But yeah, that led me to many avenues. I joined organizations that were speaking about her. I identified myself as a feminist, which now I cringe at the thought of even having gone down that road. But I think if you can get my other book, this is not a sale. I'm just merely saying that I will not be going down other explaining other things because they are detailed somewhere else, right? I detailed my journey of being a feminist and how the Lord then took me out of that and what that looked like in the book called The King's Daughter. Yeah, I was saying that you please check out my book. It's Where's Our Girls, The King's Daughters. I detail my journey with the Lord regarding that. I think that's what I'm trying to explain here, so that I don't deviate in me explaining how I ended up where I'm at. So that passion, I've always known that that's what I wanted to do, and I was doing with certain organizations that I was part of, and with amazing women that I was part of, and these two have always coexisted in a way, right? And fast forward to 2013, the birth of my daughter, and you're gonna hear a lot about her. She's been critical in a number of pointers in my life or journey moments in my life where the Lord used her to transform my thinking and so forth. 2013 then introduced me to a bigger question, right? Up until this point, I have been working for over, is it 12 years? And the question starts coming to me about, why am I here, right? And I think having been born again at a very young age, and having experienced the things that I've experienced, I do not think I have ever asked this question the way that I began asking it in 2013. And it is one of the questions that changed the trajectory of my life, and I know keeps on changing other people's trajectory, because that's the kind of work that I do. But anyway, I then asked the question, why am I here? What am I supposed to do, right? And I thank God for my husband, who then came alongside me and assisted me to answer those questions, right? We brainstormed around what qualifications do I have, what skill do I have, what passion do I have, which then led to the birth of my first organization, which is Legal Advocacy for Women, which really was a combination of law and my passion. And I think that was the intent or the outcome of that conversation, around why am I here. So we then, I called about 6 of my close friends at the time, beautiful women, and I said, this is what I want to do. Would you come and join the Wagon? However, still in that journey, the yearning and the pushing about now answering this burning sensation of, the women are dying out there. What are you doing sitting here and not going out to do it? That then expedited my exit out of corporate, and then to do what I then termed pursuing my passion, right? I jumped off 2013, and that for me felt like the final nail on the coffin of me ever practicing law. However, I think what I then did was open my consulting firm, which still exists to this day, Vongwe Legal Consulting, because this is the deal. Law will always be with me. The legal qualification is in my mind, and I can utilize it anyway and anyhow, right? So that was the idea. 2014. But just as most of you would know, or if you don't know, the journey with the Lord is never straightforward. So I jumped thinking what I was thinking. However, at that point, I already knew, at the back of my mind, He had even given me an organization name that I really put on the back burner. I'm like, no, I'll deal with this, which is my other organization, Her Voice. I called it Foundation then. I called it Foundation, but he had called it Her Voice International. It's another story for another day, don't ask me. And yeah, so anyway, I then had those happening. Her Voice, still a bit further down away, Legal Advocacy for Women, very active. I hit the ground running, came 2014. I recruited legal law students, and they were going to help me change the world and help these women, But something happened. This is what I mean when I say at every point, my pursuit of this legal qualification was always interrupted by a bigger a contesting idea, right? And yeah, 2014 had me come face to face with the God of the universe that I had known for a long time, but now obviously I was a different person. I had changed to a certain degree, but I think this time around he was then dealing with certain things in my heart, and chief amongst them at that point was respect and submission, and what that meant for me, and what he showed me was in my heart and so forth. It's a long story for another day, which I do get into, right? Somewhere else. So, but he then put me on an operating table and operated on me, removing things that were not necessary, all the lies that I had believed up until this point, and putting on new things that he had given and mandated for me as a person, right? And waking up from that operation, I think around April, I frustratedly asked, why is it that there are women only verses in the Bible? And this is my ignorance. I know maybe some of you don't suffer from it, but I did not have that idea in my head. I lived life as if we humans, we all humans. Can't we just go on with life and not genderize things? And he came for me. He came for me that April of 2014 to answer for me, why am I woman? Why did he could have put me in another body. However, he chose to put me in a female body. There must be a divine reason for that. And after that answer, which I addressed somewhere else, he then gave me a mandate and a mission at that point. And if you have been following me for a while, you would know that I speak about this. What he said to me at that point, he said, restore God's order for female design. And that has been the heartbeat of everything that I do. It has been, I've been trying to, striving to answer that, or trying to live that out, and it has come out in many forms, and you're going to hear a lot about it in this channel. And I thank God that he gave me that mandate in 2014, which then culminated in September with the birth of Her Voice Foundation, which is Her Voice International. Her Voice Foundation was to then answer this question, or answer this mission. How are we going to restore God's order for female design? I think I'm going to pause here, and because I am answering why is this advocate not in the courtrooms but in all the other rooms. And when he gave me the mission in 2014, he was so particular because he detailed the kind of people that I am to go to. He detailed the way that we were going to do it. But chief among his concern was how we were showing up in the spaces that he had put us, whether in all the rooms he had put us, whether it's the boardroom, whether it's the courtroom, whether it's the schoolroom, whether it's the bedroom, whether we were showing up incorrectly wherever he had put us. And he wanted to partner with me to make that look different. And so that's why I then said, yes, sir, I am going to do that. And I then had to take off, and it's a story for another day, how that happened and how I wrestled through that. I had to take off the legal qualification and pursue what he was now putting in my hand and saying, let's march together in partnership. And I think now that you know that about me, and I think it was key for me to actually take you through, because I'm going to start dealing with all the segments and all the nuances of what purpose looks like, and why it's critical for you to answer your why, because if you don't, you will be showing up in wrong rooms, you'll be showing up in a wrong way, and so forth. So I think as I come to the end of this, I'm looking forward to our next conversation around what is purpose, and what does it look like, because many people talk about it and many people truly don't understand what it is. And yeah, so we're gonna go through that. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please comment below. Tell me what you think about my journey. Tell me what you think about my process. Share your process with me. Let me find out where the Father has taken you and what it looks like for you. And see you in my next video. Thank you.